So welcome, this is our part one of our Miter City tile project, and today we're going to start by doing this bench. Basically I want to get the bench done, and then I want to get the floor done, because then tomorrow I can kind of tile around it. So there's two ways you could approach this bench. One, you could do the walls, but then you can kind of, you can be more, you have more wiggle room on your wall cuts, because then your bench will cover those cuts nice. But you're not adding any strength to the bench itself, at least how I see it. Second way of doing it is how I'm going to do it. You could tile the bench first, send your tile, kind of where it will be resting on the tile that's the wall tiles. This way it adds actual load strength, right? But you have to be much better at getting your wall tile cut, especially for here. Our tile basically ends right here, so it's going to be like this weird C cut. It's kind of hard to do, but if I template it right, I think we can get it. But it will add a lot more strength to this bench. Easily have two people, on there, if you know what I'm saying. So we're going to do this first, and then we're going to do our floor. This way it can dry overnight, and then tomorrow we can start kind of working on this area as well. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to measure this from, basically get it a really tight measurement. So it's 34 and a quarter. It's from wall to wall, 34 and a quarter. I'm going to cut it at 34, okay? I'm going to find a piece of tile that will give me that nice looking miter, because I want this to look nice too. So I'm going to pick a vein that will continue over to here. I won't have enough to get it onto the back, but that's fine because nobody sees the underneath side anyway. So 34, let's go cut it. Alright, so this is the tile that I picked out. It's Anatolia 24 by 48. So I can either choose this side or this side. Personally, I feel like this is too busy, so I'm going to go 34 here. And I still have a lot of that image here. And then once I get my miter, I'm going to get one of these veins to kind of cross over that, the plane or whatever. So it's going to look pretty sick. So I got my 34. I'm going to come over here to my Ruby cutter. Can't tell you how important it is to have one of these guys. This makes everything easy. And then I also put this on the table. I used to have it on the floor. I'm just pain in the butt. All right, so here we are, 34. For the manual cutter. And just adjust this. And this is our cut. So I'm not too concerned about this because it's going to get hidden with the other tile. Now, come over here. Let's measure now our depth. So when we're measuring our depth, I give at least ½ inch for my miter. So if I go perfect here, I'm at 14 1/8. But no, we're not going to push it all the way up. We're going to come off a little bit. So 14 and a half. So 14 and a half is where I want to do that miter. So I'm going to need two pieces. Let's just double check the bottom as well. Also going to be 14 and a half. So basically 14 and a half, that's to the end of your miter. Then you're going to cut back to do the miter. So back to our tile. So we have 14 and a half. So 14 and a half will be here, or 14 and a half will be here. I like this picture. This will look really cool on the miter, and then same thing here, kind of get this vein over. So we're gonna go 14 and a half. I'm gonna mark both sides because I'm gonna cut this on my saw over there, because I want to make sure I have a really nice cut there. So 14 and a half there, and then make sure that we're saving this piece because that's going to be our other side of the miter piece. All right, let me cut this, and then I'll meet you back here. Alright, so we got our cut done over here. This is going to be our miter. So I'll just mark it right here basically shoving. So I know that's my edge because I'm about to put this on the side. And then I guess, let me mark that. Now I need to find a piece. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to like use a full piece to do my underside of the bench. So let's find a super ugly piece. Because honestly, you know, this is stunning. I wouldn't want this to be just hidden. Let's agree this is beautiful, this piece as well. So I don't want that to be hidden. Ew.
Ooh.
Yeah. This one, it just looks kind of bad in terms of like the actual image itself. You know, if you compare these two, this is not one that jumps out to me just because so busy. So basically, I'm going to take this piece. So what was our size was 34. So I'm gonna go 34. Right here, 34. Cut it there. This way, this piece goes under it, and I can still have this prettier side to do like a side of my a thing or whatever. So I'm gonna cut this basically to the same size as this. It's gonna be 34 by 14 and a half. And then we're gonna start mitering, all right? So let's go for it. All right, guys, so we got our bench here essentially. So this is our top piece, our middle piece, which is your front piece, and then this is your ugly bottom piece. So essentially these ones, this is the miter that we're going to see. You know what I'm saying right here? But what we have to do first is we have to install this one and install this one. So then I can measure that distance and then cut this to size this way so then we can install it. So right now I'm gonna miter this guy, install it. I'm not gonna show you how to miter because I already made a video on that. If you press here and then check out how to miter and then come back and you'll see how it looks like installed. And that's basically it to doing your bench. And then we're gonna start doing our floor, so let's go. All right, guys, so we're here at our bench, right? We have both of our pieces. This is our top piece, that's our bottom piece. I'm gonna use a 1/2" U-notch trowel for this. It's a Perfect Level Master trowel. We have our Multi-Max Light, and Alex kind of mixed it a little bit thicker so that it doesn't, for when we do our vertical piece here, you know, whatever, our bottom piece, I want to make sure that it doesn't sag or fall off, right? So we're gonna put this on, and then we're going to back butter our tiles, set them, and then I am making a TikTok, so I think I'll just insert a time lapse of me installing it, and then I'll come back for when I make the measurement of our center piece that goes in the middle, okay? So let's go for it. So we got our top and bottom piece in. It's perfectly level this way. And then we're pitched out this way. I got a pretty good aggressive pitch on it because we're aggressive people, you know what I'm saying? Next, now I can measure out this. So this guy kind of gets in the way sometimes, you know, how it moves back and forth. So what I usually do is I'll come to 10. And then I'll line up where I want it to start. And then I'll come down. So I want my miter to be like 4, just a little bit heavy, 4 inches. So again, then on this side, it's basically 4. Like when I'm gonna make my cut, it's gonna be on the other side of the 4. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I wanna make sure that I have 4 in here because I want my miter to be recessed more inside versus like, you know, basically be on this side versus this side, because if the water is coming off, I just want it to run off that face, okay? So we have that piece out there. I'm gonna cut it at 4, and then I'll show you, and then I'm gonna miter it, bring it in here, and finish this up. I got a pretty good coverage on the back of this. I'm not really concerned with it. If you have to, if you feel like this back piece is falling off, You know where the studs are? Just put a nail in. I know you're gonna penetrate the waterproofing. It's okay. You can then use a little bit of silicone. You can use a little bit of silicone, fill in those holes, and that's fine. You'll be okay, especially underneath the bench, right? All right, let's go do that. All right, guys, I'm still gonna put just one of these little blocks, and I'm just gonna put it right here. So it's gonna be a tiny little hole that we're going to patch up the adhesive tomorrow. But it's just gonna go right here. Doesn't have to hit the stud or anything. It will, just to provide a little bit of resistance. I'm gonna do one on that side and then one on this side because I want the back of this to be level. I don't want it to shift at all overnight or the next, I don't want to keep checking it essentially. But tomorrow we'll patch up those holes and let's set this piece. Alright, so that's our bench. Level across the back, level across the bottom, and then we got a pretty good pitch here towards our shower itself. I don't want any water sitting there. Again, it kind of makes sense to do these sides, to do the bench first, because now when my tile comes across the top, it'll come this way, and then I'm bang, and then I'm bang, because then any water that hits it comes down, hits the tile, comes down on the floor. I feel like that makes sense versus doing your walls and then this. But it will be a little bit tougher tomorrow for us to cut the walls in, all right? Now we're gonna work on our shower floor. So let's get into that. All right, so we're onto the floor. We got our tile, which is exactly the same as our wall tile, except it's honed, so it's not slippery. This is safe for your showers. It's okay. So this is kind of, we got 4 pieces, how we laid it out. Our drain's gonna go right in the middle, and now we just really have to measure out our sides, and then out of the corners of our drain, we're going to cut our relief cuts. I'm going to link a video right here to how that is done, and then you guys can follow that and then come back, because right now you'll see it once it's cut. All right, so our floor is here dry fitted. This is kind of where you figure out where do I need to take some of the corners off. I gotta take some of the perimeter corners because my waterproofing kind of bulged out a little bit. So I need to take some of that off so I can move this stuff around. So once this is dry fit, I still need to be able to get my tile leveling spacers in there. So I want to make sure that I can do that as well. But definitely having one of these suction cup tools helps. The one I have is Top Vay. It's my own tool. You probably won't be able to find it, but there's a ton of suction cup tools that are helpful because then you can just take a tool, lift it up, and go. Otherwise, it's really kind of hard. So, all right, we're gonna get some thin set on here, and then we're gonna put this in. So, we got that done. This one was kind of hard because we got it done. So, if you guys see how to install your large format tile in the other video, that's exactly how we did it here. I got my drain was too low on this one when I got my first side basically in, and I had to take up half of the side and then unscrew the drain so I could come up a little bit and then redo it, because you want this to be as flush as possible or the drain just a hair low. And that's it. But tomorrow we're gonna start tiling. We're gonna start tiling kind of around here. I want to see if I can get kind of, I don't know. I'm gonna sleep on it and see what we can start doing. But basically, that's how you do your bench. That's how you do your shower floor. That's part 2 of this install, our Miter City. Tomorrow we're gonna start working on this, and I hope you guys enjoy these.